everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys have been doing well. Today is going to be the start of my makeup declutter series, so I hope you guys are excited. My mindset for this declutter, before we get into everything, is that I'm going to be mindfully decluttering things, mostly because a lot of these products, if not most of them, are products that I've purchased myself. You will be seeing that I do have a rather large collection, and that's based off of my own issues in the past of purchasing too much. With that being said, it's never too late to start having a better mind about purchasing things and consumption, but also about where that money can go and how you can save that money in the future rather than putting it all just for makeup. I'm not gonna dilly-dally anymore and rant, but anyway, welcome to the channel. My name is Hannah. If you guys like project planning, talking about your makeup collection, using your makeup collection, and using up what you have, then I hope that you'll stick around and consider subscribing and joining the family. And let's get right on into this declutter, shall we? Starting off with my eyeshadow primers, I have three. I have one Alter Ego regular eye primer, and then I have two glitter primers. I am going to pass on one of them, as I already have one, but also the reason why, it matches my nails, that's funny. But the reason why is because I'm going to pass this on to a friend. I gave her a palette beforehand that had some glitter shadows on it, but I thought that this would be a little bit more helpful. And plus, this is going to last me quite a while, so I'm not too concerned. And if I ever need another glitter primer once I'm done, I can always repurchase this. The reason for why I bought a backup, by the way, is because I was worried that, this was actually discontinued or not in stock for a little bit, so I wanted to just get a backup, but I'm trying to change my mindset about that unless things are officially discontinued. With that being said, I'm going to pass this along and keep two. For my primers, I have 6. I'm trying to use up these 2 right now, so they will not be leaving my collection. However, I am debating about maybe decluttering this bronzing drops product because I'm starting to realize that I'm not the biggest fan of these products, and I feel like they don't really look too good on me. So because of that, I will be decluttering, for now, this out of my collection. We'll see by the end of the year, once I do my whole makeup inventory, if this is staying or not. But for now, I'm decluttering this, and so we are left with just 5. Alright guys, so I'm going to, oops, this is kind of messy. I'm going to lay this out a little bit better. These are all my foundations that I currently have in my collection. I also put tinted sunscreens in the same category. I currently have 13 products. In here are 2 Believe Beauty Skin Finish foundations in the shade Nude. So I bought backups of these when Believe Beauty was being discontinued, sadly, because it is my favorite foundation. And then I just went crazy, I guess, and bought like 4 new foundations. So the 4 newest foundations in my collection are these 4. This Maybelline Super Stay foundation, this Revlon Serum Skin Tint, this CoverGirl Outlast, as well as this Tear foundation. I have not tried these at all, which is not great, but it's because I'm hoping to use up these 2 before I start trying these. However, I have heard really good things about them. I also obviously have not used this foundation either, so that means I have 6 unopened foundations, which is not good at all. I do want to say that I did buy all these on really great sale. Like this one I bought for like $4, this one for $3, and then these 2 were on a pretty good like 25% off sale. So yeah, I know, not the best decision ever, but it is what it is. I really like the Misha BB cream, but I have 2 shades that are a little bit lighter because I got them from TJ Maxx. I think my perfect shade would be 23, however, I'm learning that I do like my foundations to be a little bit lighter on my skin because I can always use bronzer or contour to deepen them, but also when I use a lighter foundation, it kind of highlights the center of my face better. Now this foundation, Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation, is one of my favorite dewy foundations from the drugstore. I'm very picky about dewy foundations because I feel like they kind of sit on the face. This one, however, does not do that. But this Maybelline one that I have decanted in there does. I am borderline hate panning this foundation. However, I already transferred it to another container, so I feel like I don't want to pass that on to someone, But if I could, I would declutter this because also the shade is not right for me. It's a little bit too orangey. But I will be keeping that to finish and try to find a way to make it work for me. Now let's see. This Maybelline Fit Me foundation, I think, can go. I like this a lot better than this. However, I just had it in my collection and I think that there's better foundations in my collection. So I think that I will pass this on to my mom or maybe a friend if I can find someone who's like my shade. And this is like my all-time favorite longwear foundation, so I don't need this, especially when the finishes are kind of similar, but this one's just a little bit more skin-like. So I will be decluttering this one from my collection. So I've already spoken about the L'Oreal one. I really like this a lot. I rave about this foundation, but I'm going to move on to this Anastasia Beverly Hills Luminous Foundation. I actually got this off of eBay, but it was completely unopened, not used, and it is really pretty on the skin. I have used this in a tutorial sorts, get ready with me, when I did sort of like my go-to look for when I don't remember what it was called. No, I think it was my confidence boosting makeup video, but yeah. But I do really like this a lot, and I will be keeping it in my collection. It is really, really nice. It's a little bit thicker, but it still wears really nicely throughout the day, and it lasts a really long time, so I'll be keeping that. And the same goes for these 6 foundations. I will also be keeping them in my collection. I will say lastly that if you guys really like the Believe Beauty foundation, try this L'Oreal Infallible Freshwear line. I know that it's 32 hours now, but it should be a similar formula. I think that you would really like this. I do know that some people will complain that this is a little bit too drying. I would just say moisturize really well under the skin. But if you have like normal to combo skin, I think you would really, really like this. If you have normal to dry skin, you would like this. So I feel like this foundation is almost like if these two had a baby, but 2/3 of this and 1/3 of that. I don't know if anyone even needs that information, but there it is. I will be keeping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 foundations in my collection. So next we have my concealer collection, and I just put them all in the order of how I purchased them from like oldest to newest. This one I probably bought somewhere here, but I'm trying to use up these concealers. These 2 concealers are actually from the Dollar Tree. This is the Be Pure Essentially Ageless line, and this is the Hydrating Serum Concealer. I have mine both in the shade, I don't know if it's on here, in the shade, I believe this is light or light medium. But yeah, they're really nice, and they are from the Dollar Tree, but I'm hoping to use them up, so that's why they will be staying. I will say that I will be keeping all of my concealers. I tend to fly through my concealers fairly quickly, so there's not going to be really much of a declutter video from here on out. It's just more of a collection thing. Next I have my Undone Beauty Conceal to Reveal palette in the shade 425 Cream Light. I do really like this. There are 3 levels of coverage in this pan, and I picked this up when I believe it was being discontinued or when it was on sale at Ulta for like $3.25. But this is a really great concealer. You get 3 levels of coverage, like I said. You get light coverage, medium, and more of a full coverage. So I do like this. I think I first discovered cream or pot concealers back in like 2017 maybe, when I first watched Pony use them. She's a Korean makeup artist, if you guys didn't know. And she uses it with a makeup brush or a concealer brush. I don't do that every time because sometimes it's a little bit tedious, but I learned how to kind of cover my dark circles from her, and I love using cream concealer to do that. Plus it's super easy to just dip your finger in there and like dab it on your under eyes, and because it's a cream, there's just more coverage off the bat. So I really do like this product, and I'm happy that it's in my collection. Next is this Neutrogena Radiant Cream Concealer. I have mine in the shade Ecru Light 02, I think. And this is really nice as well. I think that this is a little bit more drying on my skin. I'm gonna have to try to play with it a little bit more, but I do really like it, and the coverage is really nice. I think I was watching Daisy Cash when she first recommended this, because she said that it's a dupe for the Radiant Cream Concealer from NARS, which I have not tried, but I've heard really good things, and I also have dry skin, so yeah. I'm starting to really like Neutrogena's products, and I really want to try their foundations, but holding off of that for obvious reasons. And next I have my only bougie concealer, which is the Lancome Teint Idole Ultra Wear. You guys have already seen this in a tutorial of mine, and I have mine in the shade Buff N. This is actually a little bit too deep for me, so I like to use it to spot conceal, but because it's the summer and I'm a little bit tan, I like to use this also under the eyes. So this is really nice, and there is also a ton of product here, 0.43 ounces, so yeah, very happy to have that. These two are interesting. So I repurchased this one because I already used up this concealer this year, and this one was because I wanted to try their pot concealer formula for the similar reasons. So these were both around like $1.88 each, or $1 and $1.88, so $2.88, which was not that much at all. And I'm very, very happy that I have in my collection. This is my favorite spot concealer, and I had mine originally in the shade Buff. They changed the names to numbers now, so I don't know if this is the same thing, but I'm hoping it's close. This is in the shade L3, and this is in Buff. So next I have this Wet n Wild Mega Last Incognito Concealer. This is in the shade Fair. Now, I know you might be looking at this and being like, Hannah, that looks really, really light. How is that going to work? Well, for one, I'm only going to use this under the eyes, but also my Wet n Wild foundation is a little bit deep for me, and I want to do a full face of Wet n Wild for you guys eventually with the products in my collection. But also, a lot of the concealers in my collection are just a little bit too dark for me, so I thought it would be also nice to have a lighter concealer. I know, a little bit redundant. I didn't need it, but it's here to stay for a little bit. I do really like Wet n Wild as a brand. I think they're pretty great, and I'm happy to have this in my collection. I have used up one of these in the past, but I forgot what the shade was. And then next, this was my e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. I bought this at a Walmart in Tennessee, I think, while I was on vacation. I brought this as well, but I wanted something a little bit more full coverage and long lasting, especially for how humid or how hot it was over there. We were up in the Smoky Mountains and just at a lot of parks, and this did not last too well, so I just wanted something that would kind of give me a little bit more coverage and that was a little bit more comfortable under the eyes. This is my Holy Grail concealer. I have mine in the shade Light Sand, but I think from now on I'm always going to get Light Peach because this was also sadly a little too dark for me. I have used up a full one of this as well, in this shade as well as in the shade Light Peach. However, this was darker than I remember it being, so I don't know, maybe my makeup tastes have just changed and I prefer lighter foundations or what, I don't know. It's fine for everyday wear, I just like something a little bit brighter on the eyes, but I will keep that as well. So that is my concealer collection. Alright, so you guys, these are all my powders here. I don't know if they can all fit in the frame. I have currently 11 powders in my collection, and I am actually not going to be decluttering any, and I'll kind of get to why. So first off, I have my 3 Believe Beauty powders. I'm currently working on one, and then I have 2 backups because this specific one I think is being discontinued, and I haven't seen it at the Dollar Tree for a while, so the last time I saw them I thought I'd pick them up before the prices skyrocketed and it turns to $150 per item. But this is my favorite, or one of my favorite pressed face powders. Definitely for sure. I think it'd be between these and then the e.l.f. infused pressed powder in translucent. It's like the really small compact. I do not like the Halo Glow setting powder line. It's just too reflective and I have a lot of texture under my eyes and on my face, but these are really great for touch-ups or for setting under the eyes, so I'll be keeping these. I guess I can also just go into all the powders that I'm panning right now. So I'm panning one, panning this one, and debating on which one of these 2 to pan. I've unfortunately only panned 2 powders this year, which is sad because I can usually get like 7 powders out in a year, or like 5 powders out in a year, so I'm hoping that I can achieve that. I lost this for a bit, so I couldn't find it, but it has had a gigantic pan on it. I think that this will be done very, very, very soon, so I'm very excited for that. And then these 2 powders I really, really like. I was actually gifted these 2 powders from my aunt in Taiwan. This one is the Oil Ultra Long Wear Powder from 128, oops, and it's very messy. I'm a little bit over or under halfway with this powder, so I'm hoping that this can be done soon. Powder on everything now, oh dear. And then this one is the Baby Poche Super Powder in the shade O2 Beige. I think that this is a foundation powder. Mine cracked, so I had to repress it, but I'm hoping that I can get around to using this soon too. Also has LED lights, which is really cool, but I think that the LED lights are dying. Maybe once I use up this Wet n Wild powder, I'll put this in there. I don't know, we'll see. And next, I'm also working on my Wet n Wild loose powder. I have done a lot of damage on this powder, So that's where I'm at, a little bit under that line in July. I do really like this powder, however, I think I'd like to try and move on to some other things, especially because this is talc in a loose format. I know that talc is a little bit more controversial, I guess, but I would like to try to use this loose one up and then try to not buy products with talc as much, which is hard because I'm pretty sure these have talc in them as well. Yeah, most likely they probably do. So I'd like to get this one out. It's just taking a ton of room up in my collection, and as good as this was, I think I might just try to get the Laura Mercier powder instead because I liked it, even though this is a dupe, but they have a talc-free version, which I think is really cool, so I would like to try that over this. I'm very excited. I definitely will have these 3 done by the end of the year, which means that hypothetically I could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 powders, just these 8 at the end of the year, or maybe even 7 if I can finish another pressed powder, so we'll just have to see. I also have this LA Colors pressed powder. I've used up maybe 1 or 2 of these in the past. They're very easy to use up. I'm very close to waffling on this, so maybe I can get another powder out of my collection. I feel like the Dollar Tree has some pretty solid powder formulas, so I'm pretty happy about that. Next, I have this. It was the e.l.f. Halo Glow setting powder, but now this is the Beauty Creations pink powder mixed with two of these, I think, or something like that, because it was a little bit too pink, but I like this a lot. It's more of a cooler toned color now. Mine's a little messy, but I like this with my more pinkier looks, especially when my skin is a little bit more fairer. I think my skin's a little too tan for this, so there's that, but it's going to take me a long time to get through this, especially because of the color, but also because there's just a ton of product and it's quite pigmented, so I don't need too much of it. The same thing can be said for these 2 other favorites of mine. So I have the Huda Beauty, what's it called? The Easy Bake Loose Baking and Setting Powder in the shade Cherry Blossom Cake. I got these both also from eBay. I liked the color correctedness, but also that more brightened effect on the face, so that's why I picked these up. But I think my most favorite powder right now would be the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter powder in the shade Lavender, and this is going to last me a very long time. This has 0.98 ounces. Yeah, I'm very happy. I really like a lot of the powders in my collection. Next, I have this AOA Studio Flawless Setting and Loose Finish powder. It's also a color correcting powder from Shop Miss A. So I have tried this, and it's a bit challenging to use because the green is so pigmented, but I want to learn to use this better, and hopefully I can do another video soon, maybe using all AOA products. With that being said, I am very happy with my collection where it's at right now. I'm not going to be decluttering any of these, especially because I know I will be able to use them in a relatively short amount of time. And this is probably just 2 years worth of powder, which is not too bad because powders last a pretty long time. And I'm hoping that I can either get down to this amount or lower by the end of the year, which would be awesome. I would feel really good about that. So yeah. Alright, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I am sorry if it was a little bit choppy. I'm not used to filming overhead like this. This is my very first time, so I hope that you guys will be nice to me. I believe that this is the first of the 4 videos of my declutter / collection series. I might make it 5, we'll see. I'm not sure how long my eyeshadow palette collection declutter will take. With that being said, thank you so much for watching, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and that you guys have a wonderful day. Have a blessed day wherever you guys are, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!